Hey y'all, this is Joy from Eakins Outdoor Adventures. I am the wife, normally behind the camera, not on camera, because I am not the people person, my husband is. However, today I wanted to talk with you guys and do a little bit of review on our Salomon Speed Cross shoes, trail runners that we chose to purchase. We did a lot of back and forth on this. I actually purchased a really good pair of lace-up boots that came about 6 inches up my leg, thinking that it would help support my ankles while we were out hiking and would help prevent some possible injuries. So I purchased them. We didn't even make it onto the trail before I was like, okay, we need to put something else on my feet. This is awful. So with that being said, I don't wear lace-up boots on a regular basis. I wear slip-on boots or I wear tennis shoes. So keep that in mind when you're trying on your shoes. Also keep in mind, never go on a huge trip without testing out your gear. So that is why we ended up settling on the Speed Crosses. They got fantastic reviews. They've got super cute colors. They also created one that comes, I don't know for sure that it comes in women's, but I do know that it comes in a wide for men's, because traditionally Salomon is known to run very narrow. So most people that have wide feet aren't going to be interested in trying the shoe out. My husband needed to get the wides, and they're perfect. Absolutely a perfect fit. I have very narrow, long, skinny feet, and they're perfect for me as well. One of my favorite features of these shoes is the shoelaces. So they pull tight like this, and you have this piece that pushes down to tighten, and then you take all of this, you roll it up, and there is actually a, I can get it on here, there's a flap here on the tongue where you tuck that up inside so that it's out of sight, out of mind, and out of your way. These are relatively breathable. On our first hike out in them, we went through a lot of water crossings, and it didn't fully drain out because up here on the sides you've got this solid piece of rubber material that kind of keeps it trapped in. However, up in here where you have all of your mesh fabrics, it comes out nicely. So they did really good on the trail. I will say that I have found that ankle socks, for me personally, were not a good fit for these shoes. And I am also super weird, and I don't like to have huge tall socks with my tennis shoes. It's a chick thing, I guess. So we actually are getting ready to purchase Darn Tough. I'm gonna get the quarter height, so they'll stick up just a little bit. Reason being, when I was walking in them, the back portion here and the front part of the tongue come up a little bit higher than a traditional tennis shoe, and they're more padded. And so that caused some rubbing and irritation for my ankles. So trying the taller socks, I think, is gonna work a lot better. And the Darn Tough socks, I'll do a separate review on, but nothing but awesome reviews about them. And if you're unaware, Darn Toughs have a lifetime warranty. Any holes, anything like that, they replace them. So these shoes also are like freaking super glue when it comes to slippery rocks, and we actually went to Silver Dollar City the other day and those giant hills, but it's pretty aggressive tread all along the whole shoe. But as weird as it feels when you're on asphalt on the trail, it is absolutely phenomenal. Now with that being said, we've heard a lot of reviews that if you use these too much for running on asphalt, that the tread will wear down relatively quickly. Personally, I'm not much of a runner, but when I do, I don't particularly think I would like this extra elevation between my feet and the ground. So I won't be using them for that purpose, but something to think about if you're wanting to use this for a dual purpose for something like that. I will say with the wides that my husband had to get, you did not have an option to get it anywhere other than directly from the manufacturer. They haven't been around long enough to get a deal on them. So my husband had, they were $130 retail in Springfield. If you are a student and have a student ID, they give you 10% off all of your transactions, which ended up being pretty huge. So after tax, we paid like 115, 120, something like that, which to us was really reasonable. Mine, however, I did get them on Amazon, and I can put the link down below in the comments, but I paid $76 for mine, which I was super excited about. They did have limited colors in each varying size. I will also add that I am normally a 9.5 to a 10 in shoes. And I did end up having to get the larger end of that, getting the 10.5, because you need to remember when you're hiking and you're walking, your feet are going to swell. So you need to accommodate for one, the thicker socks if you get wool or something like that, but also the swelling that your feet are going to experience when you're on them for long periods of time. So something to keep in mind. Something else that I'm glad we found out early instead of finding out on trail is when you take these off and you're done, especially if you've gone for a water crossing. If you haven't, it shouldn't be an issue, but if you have, you need to take out the insoles. Reason being, we laid these out to dry. We even kind of propped them up like this to kind of help the moisture flow out of them, and we left the insoles in. By the next morning, they were still completely saturated on the inside. These probably have 10 to 15 miles only on them so far. We've only been on a couple of hikes, and because we were with the girls, we had to limit ourselves to 2 to 3 miles. So anyways, take the insoles out, and when we did that, they were dry by morning. So my big thing is I do not want to hike with my feet wet. If I have to do a water crossing and keep my shoes on, so be it. But by the next day, I want them to be dry. Now, with that being said, it very well could have been the absence of good socks and taller socks, but when my feet got wet and we continued to hike, the rubbing that I mentioned earlier from back in here and on the front got substantially worse. So the moisture definitely added a different element. So my hope is that the socks will help that. However, if they don't, for our trip to Colorado in August, we are actually looking into getting probably the god-awful, ugly Crocs or something like that that's really lightweight that we can strap to the outside of our pack, take our shoes off when we cross. Something else that I like about these, our hike we did a couple of days ago, we took our shoes off during the water crossings and did it barefoot. Horrible decision. It felt like my feet were bruised with the Missouri rocks, but it works out really well because you unlace them, you take these pieces out of the little fold on the tongue, and you unclip here on your backpack, hang them there, snap it, and it worked great for me. Some people may not like them hanging on the front, but I mean, it's only for a minute or two while you're crossing the water, but it seemed like an extremely convenient place for me to put them. So I like that I had that feature versus some tennis shoes where that might be something that might fall or drop off. So Salomon speed crosses, so far, highly, highly recommended by both me and my husband, Anthony. We'll give you more updates the more miles we get on them closer to Colorado. And as he's put it, these are the most comfortable shoes I have ever purchased. And if they wear out, I'll buy new ones. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Don't forget to like our page. There's a little bell at the bottom if you want to click on that so that you can get continued notifications for our page. And thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you later. Thanks, y'all. These probably have